Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Thanks for tuning in. Now before I start this video off, I just want to say thanks to all my subscribers. We now reached 300 subscribers. Next goal is to reach 500. As you guys can see from the title description, we are replacing the wheel and hub bearing assembly. So on this Chevy truck, it's like the whole bearing assembly. So you just have to, it's a remove and replace. It's not where you can just pull off the old bearing and put in a new bearing and still use your old wheel hub. This is the whole assembly. So if you guys want to see one where you have to like press the bearing in, just let me know, comment down below. Maybe I'll make one later in the future. But yeah, let's get right to it. Remember, give it a thumbs up, follow me on Instagram, and if you guys have any questions, just comment them down below. Alright guys, so real quick, I just want to show you guys what a bad wheel bearing sounds like. Every time we're driving down the road, you could hear like excessive noise coming from the front. I don't know if you guys can really pick up that noise, but it's making like a little like crunchy slash grinding noise. Not grinding, like kind of like a growling noise. I don't know how well you guys can hear this on camera, but here, let me show you. And this right here is how a new bearing should, or wheel bearing should sound like. Oh, you guys can hear? Absolutely no noise. No crunching noise, no nothing, no growling. Alright, so as you guys can see, I already went ahead and replaced one of the wheel bearings. There's the old one, and here's the new one. Now before you go ahead and start taking things apart, grab your new hub, wheel hub, and make sure that all the holes line up. As you guys can see, all of them are lined up. Alright, so here are the tools that you're going to need to get the job done. Let's start off over here. First, you're going to need off your brake cleaner, some WD-40 or some penetrating fluid, some shop towels, anti-seize, some thread lock, a torque wrench. For sockets, you're going to need a 10 mil, 15, 18, 19, and a 36. You need a couple of extensions. You don't really need this. This is just a 1/2 inch to a 3/8 adapter. You're also going to need a chisel, 5mm Allen key, 3/8 ratchet, a little breaker bar, pry bar, and a mallet. This is optional. If you guys have power tools, go ahead and use them. Makes the job go by quicker and just saves you a lot of time. And these are just extras. A little bungee cord, a pocket screwdriver, a little brush, and some pliers. And then of course you're gonna need your new part. If you guys are doing this at home, make sure your vehicle is on a nice level ground. Alright, let me just jack up the truck real quick and we can move on forward. Alright, so first thing you want to go ahead and do is loosen up this 10 mil right here that holds this brake line. What I like to do when I remove a bolt is I'll take the part off and just put the bolt back, that way I don't lose the bolt. So now we're going to go ahead and remove the brake caliper bracket bolt, which is this one right here. And this one right here is an 18. Make sure to loosen this one and not that one, because then you're just giving yourself more work. And for the top, it's going to be this top one right here, not this one. It's a bracket, not the actual caliper. Alright, so I almost forgot to mention this, but before you go ahead and break anything loose, make sure you spray some WD-40 or any penetrating fluid just to make things a little bit easier. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do right now. Okay, there you go. Oh, fuck. Okay, now you can go ahead and just pull off your brake caliper once you remove the brake caliper bracket bolts. And then make sure not to twist your brake line. Go ahead and set it on top of the upper control arm. Alright, now I'm gonna grab my bungee cord and just secure the brake caliper just to make sure it doesn't fall and damage the brake line. Just to like help it stay in place. Alright, once you have your brake caliper off, you can go ahead and unscrew these bolts that hold down the rotor. But in this case, there's no bolts, so I'm just go ahead and pull off the rotor. Alright, so next thing you want to go ahead and do is remove this axle nut cover. You're going to go ahead and use your chisel. Just put it like that. Use your hammer. Just give the wheel hub a turn. And just do it on the other end. Alright, now you can go ahead and grab your pry bar and just pop it off. And just pry it off. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and remove the axle nut. I will be using an impact gun, but if you guys don't have one, just go ahead and put a breaker bar at the end of the socket. Put your wheel back on. Take the center cap off and then tighten down your wheel. Then you got to lower the vehicle back down, and then that way your axle doesn't spin around, and then that way you're able to remove your axle nut. Alright, and then don't forget about this little washer right here. Just want to save that. Alright, now you want to go ahead and remove your ABS sensor. And you got to use a 5mm Allen wrench. Alright, and when it comes to removing the sensor, you guys want to be careful. So what I like to do is I grab some pliers, I grab the top, and then I just wiggle it out slowly. Slowly wiggle it out. And there you go. Alright, so now that I have the rotor and the brake caliper off, I can show you guys what a bad wheel bearing sounds like. On this side you guys can hear the noise more. So as you guys can see, when I spin it, so now we're going to go ahead and loosen up the bolts that hold in the wheel hub assembly. There's a total of 3 bolts, one right here, one up here, and then the other one is back here on this side. So you want to go ahead and grab your 15mm. Alright, so now, if you're lucky, you can just pull this off, but like 90% of the time it's like stuck on there pretty tight. So just grab your hammer. Alright, so now you want to grab like a wire brush or some sandpaper, and basically just gonna sand all this rust away. That way when you install the new hub assembly, it's easier to install. And if you guys are doing this at home, make sure to wear a mask or something to cover your face and your eyes, because you don't want to breathe this in. So before I install the new one, I like to add a little bit of anti-seize right here. That way, if the bearing does go bad again, it's easier to remove. And there we go. So remember, don't forget to install your backing plate. And then where this little hole is, that's where your ABS sensor or wire runs through. So now we're gonna go ahead and add a little bit of thread lock onto the bolts, just a little drop. Put the backing plate back on. And oh, one more thing before we put the hub on. Grab some anti-seize and put a little bit of anti-seize on the splines of the axle. That way next time you have to remove the wheel hub assembly or the axle, it's not too hard. So we're just gonna go ahead and apply a little bit of anti-seize. Alright, so now we're just gonna run this ABS wire through. And put this back in. Make sure you line up the CV axle splines with the wheel hub assembly. Okay, now you can go ahead and tighten the bolts to the hub assembly. And you first want to tighten them by hand. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and tighten the wheel hub bolts to 133 foot-pounds. Alright, so once your wheel hub assembly is torqued, you can go ahead and reinstall your rotor. Alright, so you want to grab some brake cleaner. Just clean off your rotor before reinstalling your brake caliper. Alright, so now you can go ahead and reinstall your brake caliper bracket with the caliper. Make sure to put some thread lock on your bolts, just a little bit. Alright, so you're going to go ahead and torque these bolts down to 133 foot-pounds. Alright, now we can go ahead and tighten down our axle nut. Make sure not to forget to install your washer. Alright, now you want to go ahead and tighten this to 177 foot-pounds. Now you just want to go ahead and have someone step on the brake, or you can just go ahead and use a pry bar, and just push down the brake pedal and move your seat forward. So then that way your pry bar is holding on the brake as you tighten this down. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do right now. Alright, now you just want to go ahead and put your axle nut cap back on. Grab your hammer. Alright, now you want to go ahead and tighten down the brake line. Okay, last thing to do is reroute your ABS sensor. Route them through here. This little clip goes in here. You guys can see right here. You guys just connect it. There you go. Alright, one more thing. I know that Chevy trucks have like these little clips right here for like bracket where this clips onto. Unfortunately I don't have it, so I'm gonna just let it be like that. Should be fine. You just want to make sure that this doesn't get caught onto anything, but as you guys see, everything looks good. And yeah. Alright guys, so that's pretty much all you need to do besides put the wheel back on and then go on a test drive. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed, give it a thumbs up. Until next time, peace out guys.